to October Stats with Murdock Manwaring Company. We are excited to go over real estate's crazy, and we are ready to rock and roll and show you guys what all the stuff that's going on in the real estate market in Southeast Idaho for October 2022. We got a little bit different format this month, just so we've got 4 sections. So if you're watching this video for the first time, we'll cover an overview of the stats, then we move to a snapshot of the month, then we talk about our current inventory, and then we're going to finish up with national stats. If you're thinking, is it now a good time to rent or buy or sell, man, you're going to want to hold in to the end. All right, let's get started.
Let's do it. All right, so basically as we look at Bonneville, Bingham, Jefferson County homes sold for October, we are down considerably from 303 last year to 197, and that's a 35% decrease in sales. That was a big number. We all felt that. A lot less homes sold. And here's a historical look at home sales by month. As you look through here, we're still selling a lot of homes, but we're down. So
yeah, if you're looking back, this is if you go back over and look at the years, you can see where you go back and see where we're starting to get lined back up on the years for the months. We're way back into more than we've even recorded there. And here's a little overview.
Exactly. So this kind of looks year over year. You can kind of see the seasonality of how home sales have been. We typically are slowest in sales in January and February because most people take November and December off, and as far as wanting to buy or move or whatever, and then spring kind of goes. But as you look at 2022, you can see we're considerably down. I mean, we aren't even really in that pack anymore. It's just a down year. And you look at 2020 was a spike. We had COVID happen, and then it just all went kind of crazy after that. So
a lot of people have said we borrowed the home sales of now from 2020. People bought at that time, and now that's why we've already taken them from that market.
Yeah. Yep. Here's kind of a breakdown of pricing. As we've said before, most homes in our market are selling under 500,000. That's kind of our hot spot. We're seeing a little bit over 6. But for the most part, it's 200 to 600,000 is really where we move. Yeah, average days on market's up. Here's kind of a little view of average price per square foot when you look at all the properties combined, and we are moving down from where we were, but we're still above where we were last year when you take the overall average for 2021. But
on that, Chad, on that slide right there, if we're looking at thinking how to think of this, as we went into the casino when it had $140 per square foot last year, right? Well, we got up to in April, we were up $191. And now we kept playing, and now we're back to 160. We didn't lose money. A lot of people feeling like they're losing money, but we went into the casino $140, and now we've got 166. If we cash out now, still up.
Yeah. April was the time to cash in your chips, and they just keep going down. But as long as you bought a few years ago, you're still doing really good. As far as homes sold year to date, we're down considerably as well. We're at 2,151 homes sold in these 3 areas, and we're 12.5% down for the market overall home sales this year over last. Average sales price is still up when you look at October over October, but that's not as much as it has been. We're at 411,875. And when you look October over October, it's just a little under 3% increase in sales. So interest rates are working, and it is impacting, it's slowing things down. Here is an interesting look at prices, average prices by month. And you can kind of, again, go back to the casino look. We were up almost 9% through June. And then we kind of went down 9.6%. October was our biggest drop of the year so far, 6.4%. So we are now down when you look at prices from where we started out than where we are now.
So if you bought in January, you might be a little behind at the casino.
That's right. Yep.
Got it. So average price overall is still up from last year. At 434. We're not going to hit Chad's benchmark of 5, but one of these days I'm sure we will. I hate to bring that up.
The
again.
Fed, they heard him.
Eventually, but on average for the year to date, we are 16% up still. Will that maintain? Will the growth maintain? Probably not. People I don't know if the market has reacted completely to all the changes yet, and we still have some homes that are anticipating the same appreciation from last year, so they priced in that level, but they get hurt here, and we're seeing the original list price. People are not getting that original list price. They're getting 6.25% decrease from what they were getting last year. And so as you see some homes have longer days on the market, it's probably price and features now.
And we've got that coming up on a slide. Are we overpriced? It's going to talk about what people are pricing at, but what they're actually selling at. We're still trying to adjust, still trying to get our mindset around that.
Perfect. Yep. So because last year we were paying over asking price on average, and this year the average year to date is telling us 97.5 is what we're getting. So that's a 4% decrease of what the current ask price or the original ask price. Days on market's always a leading indicator for us. So when we see that homes are sitting longer on the market and longer to sell, just year over year for the month of October, we were at 31 last year. This year we're at 49. I remember when that was just days, right? We were in time there where we were a week and a half, even less. So now we're buyers have a little more time. You know, the rates are higher, so they have time to think about it, make sure that it's the right property, but not that much time. It's still leaning towards being a seller's market right now because it's not a 6-month average. We're looking for that.
What's interesting about this is we were just at 9 days on market in June. 9 days, 19 days on market in June. 19, so it's felt fast.
Yeah. So we are quickly moving. Fast. It's still fast. We are quickly moving to a balanced market for that month. But, you know, the month doesn't tell the whole story. So the year to date is what we really want to look at. And that's telling us we are up, but not 40% year over or for the whole year average. Now, next year could be a different story. We still have months of this year that we were below 4%. Rates were still low and affordability wasn't an issue. And so that is kind of pulling our average down on days on market, but we could see that increase. So I think that stat will go up next year. But look at the historical days on market. In 2017, we were at 54 and you know, 46, 40, and 34 right now is not that bad. We are still below the average days on market from previous years, but we do anticipate that'll start to increase. So
yeah,
go ahead and tell us about price changes, Jess.
So this is what a big topic, right? This is how everyone feels because this is what we see out there. We see those price changes happening. So taking a look at the price changes just in 2022, that moves us through kind of the month to month. In October, we had 181 price changes, but what gives me hope, look at the price changes in September and August and July. Our sellers are saying, okay, we realize our market has shifted. This is a good indication of sellers saying, I'm pricing it more accurately at the beginning, so I don't have to price adjust as we go. So that's a really good indicator.
Builders caught wind way early, and they took a big dump, and that kind of pulls existing home prices, doesn't it?
That's absolutely true. Yeah. So how did we do compared to last year? And we just take a look at that. I mean, this is a good indicator, but look at that difference between September and September, but October and October. So again, we're learning and we're growing, and that really has to do with sellers.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about really, are we overpriced? Are we overpricing homes? What's the truth about this? So this will give us an indicator. When we price a home, we start out, we do 3 criteria. And what I just use a generic home that's in Idaho Falls, 2,400, 3,000 square feet, blah, blah, blah. They're selling last month at about $153 per square foot. And there were 72 of those sold with that average price per square foot. Now, if we look at the pendings, that's our most accurate, most recent information about your home sale. That's at $150 a square foot. So those homes, they're lower. So it's showing what is going pending has to be at a little bit lower. But guess what? Those active sitting out there, sitting at 159. At 159, there's a 208 homes in that category that are overpriced. That's $9 overpriced. That means they're about $21,000 overpriced on average. It's a big deal. Big deal. So let's move on to a snapshot of the month, Jeremy.
Great. So let's talk a bit about the how many homes came on the market for the month of October. 257. Now that's less than what came on the month before, with an average list price of $491. And we're getting 95 to 90% is to sold. So we can probably expect that the average sell price will be below that.
Right.
But
So when you look at
206,
Jeremy on
oh,
this,
go ahead.
that sold, that's just if they went on the market in October and sold in October, there's a big difference between what they came on and what's actually sold and getting done. Same thing with the current list. They're sitting out their current list prices. They're at 95% of what they came on. The ones that sold are at 90.
Yeah.
And this is a big one here. We've typically sat way below that on our average deals falling apart. 27% of all pending transactions went back to pending. And so we had parties come
I hate
together.
that number. Yeah,
I
it's
hate
a
that
bad
number a
number.
lot. And unfortunately, that possibly plays a lot into the expertise of the agent. So we can talk directly about that if you want to know more about that. But 85 of those of homes withdrew, which they said, hey, I'm done trying to sell. I'm just going to go off the market and I'm not going to have my house for sale right now. And so that's a pretty big number. 32 actually went the full term of their listing agreement and it expired. And then they said, you couldn't get it sold, so we're taking it off the market.
That last slide, what's interesting is that average was $190 per square foot. And if you think about our solds or pendings at 150, we can see maybe why those expired.
It's a good indicator.
So let's talk about the current inventory, what's going on right now with active homes.
So currently on the market right now, there are 623 homes. And as we said before, a lot of those are overpriced. They are not realistic with what's selling. And that's down. We're down 2.2%. Average days on market, 75. So anyway, kind of went over that. Absorption rate, 3.2 months. So we're still in a seller's market. So, and this kind of shows, go ahead, Jess.
Oh, sorry on that. If you go back one slide, that also look at that price per square foot sitting on the market, and we'll see it when we look at the breakdown because there's a lot more higher end. They're sitting on the market at 183. So we got to watch that. We got to watch that. That's why they're not selling.
So for sellers out there, people looking to sell, I mean, it's just a matter of price. If you're not selling, you're overpriced. I mean, it's really that easy. So
doesn't mean your house is bad, and it doesn't mean your features aren't good. Just the market is telling you that your price and feature combination is too much for what buyers are willing to pay.
Yeah, yep. You gotta be competitive with the other ones that are also nice homes. So, okay, so here's kind of a breakdown of all the homes that are on the market. We're seeing below 500,000, there's 390. Below 1,500,000 is 203 homes, and we are getting pretty skinny with our million plus inventory. And the days on market is getting higher on all of those. Currently, we have 213 pending listings and average sales price of $429,000. And the original price to current, a lot of those have had price drops, close to 5%. So
and to get 5% down to get an offer. That's how I look at that.
They would have been better pricing it lower to begin with.
Yep.
And so we just had there, we just have to get realistic with this market. So.
And that average price per square foot sitting at 173. The actives are sitting at 189. There's your problem.
Yep. It's just a price issue. So I want to cover one more slide after this on the national level. A lot of people, oh, wait, I'll let you do that one, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah, looks like I'm up.
Yeah, you're up on the national stats.
Yeah, so we've heard a ton about inflation, interest rates, affordability, and a correction. And so what I've heard a lot about are people losing jobs, mortgage companies closing down, people making changes, and this major compression in the market that's creating this. Well, what is the compression? They wanted to slow down inflation because we've been 7% or higher, and they want it at 2%. So they have been adjusting the interest rates. This is an indicator for just purchase loan applications made. And you can see here in October of 22, 41.9% decrease in mortgage applications, which is a leading indicator for a result that's coming in the future, a future indicator or a future result. And so when there's a drop like this, we did have a lot of banks react, and a lot of places are starting to plan for that. There's less people applying for loans because there's less people that can afford it. But the normal is not the last 3-4 years in interest rates. You look back to 1972, and that is probably where we are going to end up, is near 8%. And so that the middle ground there of 77 to 92, where we were above that mark, that is really what the normal has been. So you can see we've been way below normal. And so I think that as soon as we all kind of come to grips with this is our normal and it's not where we've been, we'll be able to figure out exactly, that homes are going to cost money. They're going to cost X amount of money if we're borrowing money. So now the affordability is realistic and not, based on free money, because the national average has always been that high. And so, you hear a lot of those things and how bad it is. Well, it's not that bad. It's just average of what it's been. And we're getting back to that normal.
I think it goes back to the casino. We saw that time that we had that chance for that money, but that's not normal, right? So if you didn't buy at that time, historically though, we're still looking good overall.
Yeah. And I wouldn't equate it necessarily a casino with housing. Because the house always wins.
The house always wins. Jeremy, you always win when you buy a house. Long term, always win.
And this is the house that always wins, owning a house. And Chad tells about the prices and values.
Let's share this slide here. So this is a national stat here, and it gives us a little bit of relation of what happened in 2008. None of us are anticipating we're going to have the downturn that we saw in 2008, but historical data helps us understand, the future, because everything we forecast is based on historical data. But what we're getting right now are a lot of people who say, you know what, I can't get my home sold for what I want. Let's rent. All right. And that is a total viable option. But people need to realize what goes into that decision, because renting isn't a short-term decision. It's a long-term decision. If you're thinking you want to rent your home for 5 to 7 years, then renting is a great option for you. If you want to rent it for a year or two, what are you thinking will be different in a year or two? Historically speaking, if we look here, and I don't know, you guys can't see my mouse, right? But if Jeremy, if you can show a mouse and hover it over 2008, yeah, hovered over 2008. In 2008, a lot of people decided to rent their houses or hold on to them. And then in 2009, the market went worse. And in 2010, it went worse. In 2012, it went worse. But if you see, it took between 5 and 6 years just to get back to the price of 2008. And then to get above 2008, it took, 7 or 8 years. And so basically, I don't think it's going to take us 7 or 8 years to get back, but I do think it's probably realistic that if you're thinking about renting, don't be thinking about it being a 1 or 2 year option. It's a 5-year option. Historically speaking, if you look back at other times we've had price dips, I mean, it's probably a 5-year, whereas in 2008, it was a 7 to 8 year option. So just let's be realistic and realize why we're wanting to sell. So
yeah. Well, good. That is it. We've covered October. We wonder what's the market's going to bring this next year or 2 or 3 or 4. We do anticipate that it is going to continue to soften a little bit. Rates continue to go up, so people can't afford as much. What do you guys anticipate? Just if you had to say 2023, what's going to look like?
Well, I'll preface it by saying that we were with Gary Keller a couple days ago, and he said the most dangerous tool we have right now is our own opinion on the market. And so with that being said, I mean, the predictions I'm seeing is that the market should basically have somewhat of a recovery starting in 2024, but we'll see more of the same for sure for the next, 12, 15 months. So.
Jessica?
Yeah, I would agree that. I think that we're going to see still a little more dip. We're going to see it still coming down a little bit, and probably not definitely not a crash, but I think we'll see it. They're trying to work on that inflation, and it's always a dangerous game when we're in those political campaign years. You never know what's going to happen. So yeah, I would say don't plan on it shooting for the sky, but if you're going to buy, still buy, because then hold.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy, buy now and hold.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to sell now too. I mean,
And if
Today's
you're
going to be
planning
better in
buy
6 months.
and move in 6 months and sell it and think you're going to make money, probably not the time to do that.
Yeah. If you're going to sell in the next year, sell now.
Yeah, sell now. Well, good. That's it for the stats. We'll see you
That's
guys
the
next
stats.
month.
Yep. Thanks. See you
Thanks,
later.
everybody.